Right now at 5, the city of Joplin bestows the honor of a street renaming on a longtime resident.
And it's going to be another hot day out there. We'll have variable clouds going partly to mostly cloudy. We'll break down the details in that forecast to get you out the door coming up.
Plus, we'll see how Kansas farmers try to protect their livestock against bird flu.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the
first day of summer.
Is it? I thought it was the 21st. Is it the 20th this year?
It was on the thing that Doug put together for me.
It is the first day.
Listen, I trust Doug. Everyone, we believe in Doug Heddy.
Absolutely.
And he put together something for me and put today as the first day of summer.
Good.
So
okay.
I don't check because it's Doug Heddy.
In Doug we trust.
In Doug we trust. So it is the first. So, but the thing is regardless, it would be confusing anyway because it has honestly felt like summer for the past several days.
Like in the dog days of summer. It feels like August out there.
It does,
almost.
And it's going to continue to get hot. Let's start with a look outside. This is our camera at the Cornell Complex. It's on top of there, downtown Joplin. Looking pretty good. Got some clouds out there. And again, we're going to have variable clouds through the day. MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line. Not bad so far this morning either. So again, with the variable clouds, you'll have those moments of partly cloudy skies and go mostly cloudy. You might even have a little bit of mostly clear skies for a bit. And we could see a pop-up shower or two. But as we've noted the last few days, future track, again, with pop-up storms, pop-up showers, the difficulty is there's not a specific system setting them off. That's why they're pop-ups. And so it's difficult for it to exactly plot what's going to happen. It's simply saying it is at least a possibility of a stray shower. But again, as we've seen the last couple of days, some of these pop-up storms just have not come to fruition. We're otherwise, again, hot and partly to mostly cloudy. Temperatures this morning, again, somewhat more manageable than what they were at the beginning of the week. We have some upper 60s and we've got low 70s across the area. So a nice start to the day. It's going to be hot again. Highs once again about 90, some low 90s out there as well. Variable clouds throughout the day. Winds won't be gusting, so no relief there. And our heat index values, we're getting to that point where we still got the 90 to 95 degree range. We're seeing a few more areas, especially in the southeast Kansas, that could be in that 95 to 100 degree range on those heat index values. Unfortunately, our temperatures will continue to increase as we head into next week, and as temperatures increase, so do the heat index values. We'll look at all that in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll check in with you soon, Chris. Well, Joplin Fire and Police were called to a serious crash at 7th and Maiden Lane last night around 9:20 p.m. Multiple patients were transported to area hospitals with unknown injuries. The intersection was closed to all traffic while authorities conducted their investigations. It was determined that one car traveling west on 7th Street turned in front of another car heading in the opposite direction. All lanes of traffic resumed around 11 p.m. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, Joplin honors one man's public service with a ceremonial street naming. J.D. Love is a lifelong Joplin resident and served in a variety of public service roles for decades. Love was as a Joplin police officer for 28 years and was a Jasper County coroner for 2 terms following his retirement. Yesterday, Love was recognized with a ribbon cutting and street sign unveiling on McKee Street, where Love grew up. The tribute was organized by Easttown Dreams District in partnership with the city of Joplin, and more than 100 people came to celebrate Love's commitment to the community.
We are so excited to be able to celebrate a man that has been a part of this community for so long.
Every time I think about this day, I'll be happy for the rest of my life because it's something I never expected, you know. But it happened in a city that I love.
Love signs will be added to the existing signs along McKee Street as a ceremonial naming. Residents will not have to change their address. Well, there are concerns the H5N1 bird flu could grow into a more pressing problem for people. It's already spread to livestock herds at least 12 states, including Kansas, and 4 human cases reported in 3 states. To combat this spread, Kansas implemented strict movement rules for lactating cows that require both a certificate, a veterinarian inspection, and a negative milk test. But as KOAM's Tanya Bach shows us, while producers remain vigilant, they're also confident their products are safe.
We're cow-calf, and I custom graze some stockers. I've got some laying hens, sell eggs to neighbors. We got a few goats for the kids, and I raise hogs.
Wayne Bontrager has been raising livestock at Prairie Oak Farms outside of Parsons, Kansas for 9 years, just long enough to remember the 2015 bird flu outbreak. That year, commercial farms in the U.S. destroyed more than 42 million chickens and 7.5 million turkeys due to the highly pathogenic avian influenza H5N1 virus. This Butterball turkey farm in Jasper County, just one of many with confirmed cases.
You know, there's always that risk. We can't control the birds that migrate through this area. To me, I have never had any issues with it, so I don't have a big concern, but it's something to be aware of.
This year, Bontrager says he was surprised when he heard the HPAI virus jump from birds to cattle. And he wasn't alone.
The fact that it jumped from birds into our cattle, or our dairy population specifically, did catch us off guard.
Justin Smith is the Kansas Animal Health Commissioner.
How many positive tests were there in Kansas?
So we actually had 4 herds that were confirmed positive with HPAI.
And were any of those in the eastern Kansas region?
No, unfortunately, all of our impacted dairies were all out in the western third of our state.
Smith says dairies immediately pulled the infected cows from the milking line, and they took measures to ensure none of their milk entered the food supply.
It's proven time and time again that the United States has one of the most safest food supply systems in the world, and we rely on that. And so the processes that have been put in place, whether it be meat inspection at our packing facilities or the pasteurization process within our dairy processors, has been effective and has been proven effective.
Smith says even the infected cows bounced back.
And as they started to come back up feed, we've seen those cows recover really very well. We had very little loss.
Little loss, but still a big concern for livestock producers everywhere.
I'm someone who wants to support the local people around me or whoever buys my products. I want it to be a healthy product for them, that they can, understand that we as farmers care about how the public views us.
Reporting in Labette County, Kansas, Tanya Bach, KOAM News.
Smith says recent studies have shown the pasteurization process does inactivate the virus. And if you're worried about eating beef, follow proper cooking recommendations that will also incapacitate the virus within the meat. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. A Missouri Southern baseball player gets named to the Division II Gold Glove team. Plus, Prince William and Queen Camilla attend a prestigious horse race in the UK. And we have another hot and partly cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Well, Janelle Smith Carson, who grew up in Fredonia, represented Team USA in the 400-meter dash in the 1964 Olympics. 4 years ago, she passed away, but her legacy is being carried on with a foundation in her name. The Janelle Smith Carson Foundation donates $1,500 to Special Olympics Kansas yesterday afternoon. Janelle's brother, Meade Smith, and husband, Mike Carson, who's the athletic director at St. Mary's Colgan, represent the foundation and presented the check. They say it's a great way to continue her legacy.
We have 3 things: cancer, Title IX scholarships for young women, and Special Olympics were three of her causes that she felt very passionate about.
This money means so much. It enables us to be able to provide shirts for the flag football that's coming here for state competitions, and also just to be able to support our athletes as they compete.
Missouri Southern shortstop Henry Kuziak is named to the American Baseball Coaches Association Division II Gold Glove team. The Lion senior had a fielding percentage of .988 this past season on 242 chances. He had just 3 errors to go with 154 assists, 85 putouts, and 27 double plays. Kuziak is just one of just 9 players from across all Division II schools to receive this year's Gold Glove Award. In Major League Baseball, the Royals and Cardinals were both on the road. KC has the second of 3 games against Oakland. St. Louis wraps up a 3-game series against the Marlins after losing on a walk-off in the 10th inning Tuesday night. Matthew Liberatore starts on the mound for the Cardinals. He runs into some early trouble. His first pitch of the day is swung on and crushed to left center. Gone for a home run. Next batter, Jesus Sanchez, same result, another home run. The Marlins go back-to-back and open up a 2-0 lead. Cardinals get back in it, though. 7th inning, downs 3-2. Paul Goldschmidt rips this down line into left. Mason Wynn comes around to score from first. We're tied at 3. Next inning, bad news for Cardinals fans. Nolan Arenado takes a pitch off the right elbow and goes down hard. He would leave the game after this. To make things worse, bottom of the 9th, still tied. Otto Lopez hits a line drive into right field, and Alec Burleson is unable to get a clean handle on it. And the Marlins walk off the Cardinals for the 2nd day in a row. Final score 4-3. Redbirds are back at home tonight to face the Giants. Still to come, we're going to see how a new study found walking could help lower back pain. Plus, another check of that hot forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:17 on this Thursday morning, and this is the Future Track, and it is showing us what we were discussing earlier. Variable clouds. So again, some of you, for example, Yates Center, may have moments of mostly clear skies, but we're looking at otherwise partly to mostly cloudy skies as we go through the day. As you can see, an isolated pop-up shower is possible. Unfortunately, these pop-up storm chances really haven't amounted to much of anything over the last few days. We've needed some rain, and all we've managed to get are some nice-looking cumulus clouds that then don't do anything for us. But we'll continue to be partly to mostly cloudy as we go overnight. And again, another stray shower or two possible, but I do believe the majority of us will remain dry. Friday, again, the majority of us remaining dry out there, maybe a pop-up shower, and we might even see a little clearing. We'll be, again, partly to mostly cloudy on our Friday. And as we head into the weekend, we have a few rain chances here and there, but again, we'll have to see how that all plays out. Our UV index today is a 10. That's very high. Burn time for unprotected skin is 10 minutes. So do make sure that you're taking precautions out there. Our heat risk for today, we're seeing that moderate begin to return across the area. So the minor, again, that's heat index values about 90 to 95. The moderate, or that orange, is heat index values 95 to 100. And then we get to the major, which is heat index values 100 to 105. So by Friday, you can see we're starting to see all of this start to creep in here. By Saturday, moderate has overspread the area. We're seeing a lot more of that major. And as we go into Sunday and Monday, take a look at that purple. That purple is the extreme. That is heat index values in excess of 105 degrees. We go into Tuesday, and that purple overspreads even more of the area. So we are talking dangerous, potentially deadly heat out there. Now, I know we show this every day, but I show it every day because each day we go without having a story about somebody who has become seriously ill or potentially even passed away from the extreme heat means that this thing is at least doing its job for somebody out there. So again, with your pets, make sure you're doing the early morning walks, keep them indoors otherwise, keep your kids hydrated, and especially as we get into that very dangerous heat next week, keep them indoors. If you do have to be outside, or if you've got to work outside, take frequent breaks, stay hydrated yourself, and of course, like children, elderly, quite susceptible to this kind of heat, so make sure you're checking in on them. Our camera 7th and range line, beautiful sunrise out there this morning. We got some nice colors on those clouds. 71 East-southeast breeze at 6 in Joplin. Around the area, again, temperatures more manageable than where we started the week. Some upper 60s down to the south. Otherwise, low and maybe close to mid-70s out there. So we're still above average, but it's not as warm as it has been the last few days. Unfortunately, though, that's not going to stop us from warming up. Variable clouds through the morning. Low to mid 80s by 11 o'clock. As we head into the afternoon, our highs today climbing right around 90 degrees again, and some of us may make the low 90s. As we head into the evening, of course, the hotter we get, the longer it takes to cool back off. And with cloud cover, remember that thermal blanket we've talked about in the wintertime, it still works in the summertime too. It's going to keep some of that heat in there for a bit. So we're still only 80 degrees by 10 o'clock with our lows tonight going back up to that mild side, low to mid 30s. Goodness, we're not there yet. Low to mid 70s. As we head into the weekend, again, these temperatures, look at Monday. 97, 96 Tuesday, 97 Wednesday, Thursday, hence why that heat risk map brings in the extreme coloring, because if those temperatures are reaching highs in the upper 90s, that's when those heat index values are going to be well into the triple digits, so make sure you're staying safe out there. And we got a few different days with maybe some opportunities for some pop-up showers and storms. Let's check your forecast. We're back with Health Watch right after this.
If you're one of the more than 600 million people worldwide impacted by lower back pain, listen up. A new study found walking could help. The study, published Wednesday in the Lancet Journal, followed more than 700 Australian adults, mostly women in their 50s, who had recently recovered from an episode of low back pain. People in this study who walked regularly after having at least one episode of low back pain were pain-free nearly twice as long as those who didn't. In addition to providing participants with longer pain-free periods, the walking program reduced the amount of time taken off work and medical visits by half. Well, a new health study reveals the benefits of doing resistance training exercises can yield results 4 years later in older adults. According to this study published in the journal BMJ Open Sports and Medicine and Exercise Medicine, as people get older, their skeletal muscle function declines. Researchers performed a trial with 369 recently retired and healthy adults between 64 and 75 years old. The group was assigned one of 3 exercise programs for a year. The workouts involved lifting weights 3 times a week, moderate intensity training, and using body weight and resistance bands 3 times a week. Researchers wanted to investigate whether resistance exercise programs were helpful in the long run. After the first year of the trial, participants' bone and muscle strength were measured 2 and 4 years later. Well, if a teenager is in crisis or simply needs someone to talk to, sometimes there's no one better than another teen. A peer-to-peer support line in Seattle is offering that exact resource, helping kids in crisis with professionals standing by. Molly Shen has the details.
Hi, thanks for calling TeenLink. My name's Stella. What's your name?
Stella Rubel just graduated from Ballard High School, but she hasn't forgotten her elementary school days when she says she struggled with her mental health and needed professional help.
And I learned from my parents that it was really difficult to even get into places to see a therapist. So I wanted to take part in being part of this resource where anybody can get this resource for free.
Stella is now a volunteer at TeenLink, an anonymous peer-to-peer resource line. Most teens reach out via text or chat about bullying, substance use, stress, and sometimes suicide.
What are we seeing happening over here?
Yeah, so what's going on over there is we do have a chatter right now who is reporting some suicidal ideation. So we have our 2 mentors who are here tonight over next to the volunteer, making sure that not only the person on the other end of the line is okay, but also that our volunteer is okay.
If the volunteer and mentor feel the teen reaching out isn't safe, they'll connect them with a professional.
But initially, another teen might be the most comfortable person to talk to.
Especially with even text lingo, things little small things like what abbreviations people use, or what maybe we'll start talking about coping mechanisms, and somebody really likes this new show and we know about it, and so we can kind of talk with them about it.
TeenLink says just 10% of their conversations are about suicide. Most often, chatters just need a friendly ear.
I think one of the things that's so important about our line is that we can hold space and hear and just be a space to listen and empathize with people.
There's a motto here that no problem is too big or too small. Whatever the issue, volunteers work to make a meaningful connection.
I think I feel satisfied, sometimes stressed. It depends on how the night goes, but I definitely feel like I have hopefully made a difference for someone.
People of all ages can get help 24/7 through the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by calling or texting 988. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got an absolutely beautiful start to the day. Look at that sunrise out there. We are going to have another hot one, though. Latest on your forecast when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, KCU Joplin hosts a MASH camp for potential medical leaders of tomorrow.
And we've got some clouds out there this morning ahead of another hot day across the 4 states. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, a pair of kid-friendly robots hit the Carthage Public Library for a fun learning experience.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:31. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. Is it Friday yet? I don't know.
It's the first day of summer.
It is the first day of summer.
I believe you now, Chris. I believe
it's fact. You now. Or as the kids these days say, no cap.
No
it
cap.
Is
straight facts.
Oh, I'm trying to keep up. You parents at home, you're about my age, probably got kids about my age, and they're coming home and they're throwing those words at you, and they're coming up to you and they're like, "Hey, would you like some ice cream?" And they go with bet. I'm like, what are we doing? Do you want ice cream or not?
And in your defense, it makes no sense.
No, it doesn't.
It really doesn't. I know that growing up, my generation had some slang.
Oh yeah,
this is, unbelievable what they're coming up with.
Totally rad, man.
The poor state of Ohio.
Oh boy. Thankfully, we don't have to worry about that. I'm not going to try and use any fancy new age language. But here, thinking back to it, I'm sure for my parents, if I'm running around going, that's totally rad, man. They're like, what is rad? I'm like, I don't know. It's cool. Like, what's cool? Anyway, it's not cool today, though. MoDOT camera 32nd and range line. Looking good so far. We're going to have variable clouds throughout the day, and it will be hot. So the opposite of cool. We'll have those partly to mostly cloudy skies. Future track again, it's showing the possibility of some pop-up showers, but as we've noted over the last few days, we've gotten close. We've had cumulus clouds out there that have looked like they were ready to open up some kind of rain, and they just don't. And that's how it's going to be as we head through the afternoon and evening. Temperatures this morning, again, not bad compared to the last several days. Upper 60s and some low 70s across the area, but our highs today going right about 90 degrees with variable clouds and a light southeasterly breeze across the area. Heat index values today could be mid-upper 90s, so do make sure you're taking precautions out there. The bad news is the heat is going to continue. Summer is going to arrive with a vengeance next week. We'll talk about that in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, Kansas City University in Joplin showed some high school students what it takes to work in the medical field. The MASH Camp event introduced 9th through 12th graders to different healthcare career options with plenty of hands-on learning. Students got a tour of the various labs and facilities, everything from the emergency room to ambulances to a mock operating room.
We are on day 2 of our summer MASH camp, and so MASH camp is basically just an opportunity for high school students, preferably, to stay engaged with the sciences and healthcare career options, and we just kind of like to give them some opportunities to get in the hospital or to get in the facilities, get their hands dirty, see what different departments are like and things that they would potentially be doing.
Event organizers hope to encourage high school students into the medical field in rural Missouri, where there is a shortage of both physicians and dentists. The Carthage Public Library had a couple of new visitors. Robots Dash and Dot dropped in on patrons to help teach kids about STEM and STEAM. The pair demonstrated such things as navigating a maze and responding to individual voices. Event organizers hope the two can encourage kids to have fun and continue to learn during the summer break.
STEM and STEAM activities are becoming so important in everyday life. They incorporate so many different aspects of the learning process, and we like to work toward that, or to work with the schools for the summer to keep kids reading and using their brains, doing math, doing science, to keep their brains active so they don't fall into what's called the summer slide.
The Community Foundation of Carthage provided a $4,700 grant to fund robotics programming for this summer. On your marks, get set, float. Some McDonald County High School students made waves with a boat building competition. They put their cardboard and duct tape watercrafts to the test by trying to float across a pool with at least one person on board. The idea of the summer school project is to teach engineering principles, encourage creativity and teamwork, and to, of course, have some fun.
They have more fun and they're learning while they do it. It's that whole hidden learning activity thing, and they're supposed to be in summer anyway. You should have fun in summer, and if we can incorporate learning with fun, it's a great time to do that.
Yesterday's race tested functionality and durability of the creations. On a muggy June day, getting wet in the pool was an added bonus. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Tropical storm Alberto is bringing strong winds and heavy rainfall and some flooding along the Mexican coast. Plus, a high-level congressional delegation was in Israel hoping to calm tensions between Jerusalem and Washington. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping World Watch, Prince William and Queen Camilla attend a prestigious horse race in the UK without King Charles or Princess Kate. The two arrived together in a horse-drawn carriage yesterday for day 2 of the Royal Ascot. Famous composer Andrew Lloyd Webber also arriving in style, and he was recently made a member of the Order of the Garter. Camilla wore a royal blue dress with white frills on the front, while Prince William wore a top hat. The event is typically one of the highlights of the royal summer social calendar, but with Prince William and his stepmother, significant others both battling cancer, the King and Princess Kate are said to be prioritizing their health. The King is expected to return to the Royal Ascot for the final 3 days of the event to support his horses and their trainers. Well, the first named storm of what is forecast to be a busy hurricane season formed yesterday in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. Tropical storm Alberto is bringing strong winds, choppy waves, heavy rainfall, and some flooding along the Mexican coast. Many preparing for the storm ahead of time, moving belongings that could be blown away out of beach shacks. The National Hurricane Center said yesterday that Alberto was packing maximum sustained winds of approximately 40 miles per hour. Authorities anticipate the storm will make landfall in northern Mexico today, with as much as 20 inches of rain that's expected in some locations in Mexico, which could result in mudslides and flash flooding. Alberto is also affecting parts of the Texas coast, and hurricane season began June 1st and runs through November. Firefighters work to extinguish flames as wildfires continue to break out in Greece. Local authorities issuing evacuation orders in the city of Koropi following a wildfire that burned yachts, boats, and cars in the area. Flames spread quicker than usual because of strong winds, according to fire service officials. And Greece is no stranger to wildfires, but scorching temperatures and dry heat are causing them to be more devastating than usual. A high-level congressional delegation was in Israel yesterday, hoping to calm tensions between Jerusalem and Washington. Troy Yingst has more from Tel Aviv.
The Israeli military is moving ahead with its offensive in the southern Gazan city of Rafah, but it could be running out of the weapons and ammo it needs to make the final push. On Tuesday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu claimed the Biden administration is withholding vital arms shipments, slowing the Rafah offensive, and calling into question one of the most important security partnerships in the Middle East. But the controversy appeared to be dying down on Wednesday after a burst of diplomatic activity. The U.S. ambassador to Israel telling Netanyahu the shipments are on the way.
The ammunition and weapons that the Prime Minister referred to are in the process of being delivered to Israel. So the Prime Minister thanked him.
But that announcement came after a senior official confirmed to Fox News that a high-level meeting between the U.S. and Israel was canceled due to the dispute over arms shipments, despite Secretary of State Antony Blinken saying Tuesday that the White House is committed to making sure Israel can defend itself. A high-ranking congressional delegation is now in Jerusalem, meeting with senior officials here and trying to make sure any further disagreements between Biden and Netanyahu stay behind closed doors.
We are utterly grateful to the United States of America for standing with us in this war. And if we have anything to discuss, it should be discussed quietly.
Officials tell Fox News a scheduled visit to Washington for Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant will move forward as planned.
And that's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 544 coming up on 546 on this Thursday morning, and today it's going to be even hotter than yesterday, only slightly so, but it is the indication that our temperature is going to continue to climb, and it is the first day of summer. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, really, I thought the first day of summer happened almost a week ago when it started getting hot, but it is officially today, and unfortunately, summer roaring in with a vengeance next week. Future track, again, an isolated pop-up shower possible. I think that based on what we've seen with the trends, we're going to probably see some cumulus clouds. We're going to see them look like they want to do something, but unfortunately, I don't think they're going to do much of anything. We'll be between partly to mostly cloudy skies through today, mostly cloudy overnight, and similar tomorrow, we'll be partly to mostly cloudy, and we'll have the chance for a pop-up shower or two, but unfortunately, I really don't think we're going to see all that much, and we'll start to clear out by later in the day ahead of some additional clouds by Friday night. Our UV index today is a 10. That is very high. Burn time for unprotected skin is about 10 minutes. So again, make sure you're taking those precautions out there. Heat risk for today is minor to moderate. So that minor is the 90 to 95 degree range approximately on heat index values. The moderate is 95 to 100. As we head into tomorrow, we see that increase. We're seeing more moderate around the area, starting to see major. Major is heat index values of about 100 to 105. And you can see more major, more moderate by Saturday. And it gets worse from there, unfortunately. This is what I mean when I say summer's coming in with a vengeance here. We have major across most of the area by Sunday, starting to see extreme. And extreme is heat index values in excess of 105. Look at this by Monday. That extreme overspreading the area. By Tuesday, even more of it out there. So make sure you are taking precautions in the heat, especially as we head into next week. We're kind of giving you that first warning as if we were expecting a major snowstorm or severe weather next week. This heat is just as serious as either of those things. So that's why we want to remind you, take your pets on early morning walks. Make sure they are indoors otherwise. Keep your kids hydrated. And as temperatures really heat up into the weekend and next week, you need to keep them inside. For those who have to work outside, I know that the companies and the bosses are going to be doing the right thing. I'm certainly hoping so. And giving you opportunities to take frequent breaks, find shade, stay hydrated out there. And of course, make sure you're checking up on the elderly as they are quite susceptible to this heat. Take a look though. Beautiful, beautiful sunrise out there this morning from our camera 7th and Rangeline. Those colors are incredible. 71 in Joplin, east-southeast breeze at 6. Temperatures like yesterday, a bit more manageable compared to the start of the week. We've got some upper 60s, otherwise low 70s as we get the day started. Or again, variable clouds for the day. Some of you may even have moments of mostly clear skies out there as well, but somewhere between that partly to mostly cloudy range for most of us, and we'll be about the mid 80s by 11 o'clock this morning. That's ahead of highs today going into the upper 80s, right about 90. And then take a look at these temperatures increasing as we head into next week. And yeah, we're getting close to 100 degrees as we kick off next week, which is why that extreme shows up on the heat risk map, because those heat index values are going to be soaring as well. We may have some morning storms on Sunday, and then we've got options for pop-up storms once again on varying days next week. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Ryan Seacrest joins Vanna White this fall.
Arizona is hosting a camp for high school girls to learn about what firefighters do. Desiree Flewellen has more.
The Goodyear Fire Department is hosting Camp Fires, females in responding emergency services.
This camp is for teens and girls to come and learn a little bit about the fire industry and like what they do, and we get kind of a view into their world and their daily lives.
Addison Fullerton has participated in this camp before. She has a passion for helping those who feel helpless. The camp prepares them in a variety of ways.
Most of it is like getting out of your bubble a little bit, learning confidence, how to talk to people and how to deal with hard situations.
Over the course of 5 days, high school girls will get to experience the job. They'll perform search and rescue missions and climb a 100-foot tall ladder. Today was all about working with turnout gear.
We put on our gear, and the captains put on their packs, and then we would go through our stations where there's we pull a tire.
They also worked with the hoses and climbed stairs. Goodyear's first female fire captain, Megan Goldbach, says this camp started about 10 years ago and the mission continues with strength.
It shows them that they're able to take care and accomplish things that they didn't think that they could, and open up avenues of different career fields if they would like to.
And some campers have discovered this is what they like to do, years later becoming firefighters.
They went through the academy, they got hired, now they work for cities around the valley, so I thought that was pretty cool.
The camp is held every June and is open to any young girl in the valley.
Well, students in one school district are learning history and civics in a new way. Michael George shows us how comic books are now being used in the classroom.
This isn't a typical social studies class.
I want you to look for an example that you want to share with your table.
These 6th graders at PS 315 in the Bronx are immersed in comic books with real-life superheroes from America's past.
We have a bunch more.
Teacher Ruth Duran-Chia is using graphic novels to teach history.
It comes to life for them, and it has some of the emotion that they want to get out of history. They don't just want it to be facts and information.
These comics were created by New York City public schools, drawn by top artists in the comic book industry. Books on activism, Asian American history, democracy, all told through vivid, colorful pictures.
Graphic novel and comic books are way better because it's more engaging and it hooks the reader more.
Duran-Chia says she's never seen her students this excited about reading.
The second I put them out, they start disappearing from my desk. So that speaks for itself.
New York schools have printed 25 comics, and with 2 million copies so far, they're one of the largest comic publishers in the country. Jenna Ryle, director of Civics for All, which created the program, says it's a lesson plan other school districts could follow.
The traditional textbook is not the only way to get the information that we want our students to have to them.
A new approach making social studies a real page-turner. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
The school district says the comics won't replace textbooks, but are being used as an additional way to get kids engaged in reading. We'll be right back. A group of Star Wars fans meet in Mexico City to participate in the Jedi Knight Academy, a lightsaber combat and choreograph school. The 3-hour-long class teaches techniques based on the Sith and Jedi teachings, creating a complex discipline that also draws knowledge from martial arts styles like Aikido and Tai Chi. They begin class with a meditation and are then taught different exercises they perform repeatedly until they master the moves. Some students can then duel with protective equipment, and at the time of opening the academy, lightsaber dueling was gaining popularity around the world, and it was even recognized as an official combat sport by the French Fencing Federation. Well, a worldwide event aimed to raise awareness about the importance of teaching kids to swim takes place on the first day of the astronomical summer. The 5th anniversary of the world's largest swimming lesson is expected to draw more than 39,000 kids and parents today. Participants will learn basic water safety skills at the one-day event being held at hundreds of aquatic facilities worldwide. And according to the CDC, drowning is the single leading cause of death in children ages 1 to 4. Research shows that formal swimming lessons can reduce the risk of drowning by up to 88% among children in that age group.
And you're going to certainly want to make sure you have good water skills yourself, and your kids do as well, because you'll probably be spending a lot of time in the water over the next several days as temperatures heat up. Variable clouds today will be about 84 by 11 o'clock this morning, ahead of highs right around 90. Our heat index values, though, anywhere right around the mid-90s across a good portion of the area. Could even see some upper 90s out there. As we head into the evening hours, the variable clouds continue. Again, some of you may even have moments of mostly clear skies for a bit, but otherwise partly to mostly cloudy. Will be mostly cloudy overnight, down to about 73 for our low. And then this is what we're talking about. Today is officially the first day of summer, and Mother Nature said, oh, well, let me show you summer. And that's what's going to happen next week. Could see some morning storms on Sunday, and then we'll have pop-up storm chances again next week. And as we head through next week as well, take a look at some of those temperatures. Upper 90s, we are getting close to 100. So here's where the concern comes in. That's where we see those heat index values in excess of 105 degrees. We could be reaching 110 on heat index values. So as we head into next week, please, please take care of yourself, take care of your kids, take care of your pets, stay hydrated, stay indoors where you can, because it is going to be dangerously hot. Let's check your forecast. We got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.